Well, the true meaning of the season is a phrase that we hear a lot this time of year, but what does it really mean? Here with their reflections, Cardinal Thomas Collins, Archbishop of Toronto, and Rabbi Yossi Sapirman, Senior Rabbi at NuShul and founder of Living Jewishly. It's good to have you both here. Cardinal, I'll begin with you. Talk a little bit about the meaning of Christmas. What message should people keep in their hearts this time of year?
Well, this time of year is a time when we think of love, the gift of love for one another. Particularly, of course, as Christians, we think of the gift of God coming amongst us in Jesus, which is really what the whole celebration is about. Christmas really means Christ's Mass. So it's the celebration of thanksgiving for the coming of God amongst us in Christ, which is not exactly what it's, sort of the secular views tend to go to other things, but even the giving of gifts is based upon that giving of the gift from God. So that's the season of joy and of thanksgiving.
And similarly, what message do you want people to be thinking about, Rabbi, this time of year at Hanukkah?
Well, first of all, we are extremely grateful to the Cardinal and Christianity for making this such a festive season that we can sort of piggyback on. It's always complicated. What do you celebrate? What don't you celebrate? I learned a very important lesson when my daughter was born on Christmas morning. So, so now it's sort of a blending of all kinds of, she has the perfect excuse.
Do you celebrate Christmas in your house?
Well, Jewish celebration of daughter's birthday on Christmas is as good as we get, right? And if Hanukkah and Christmas happen to be together, they overlap. Although there is a lot of work being done to make sure people don't lose the message. Hanukkah is its own thing, Christmas is its own thing. Fundamentally, it's a celebration of light, but it's always a wonderful time. And, for me, the messaging is, let's make it wonderful for everybody. And it's important that we acknowledge everybody's holiday and everybody's meaningfulness.
Cardinal, do you find that in Canada we're still embracing the message of Christmas, or have we lost sight of it?
Well, I think it's been commercialized a lot. And so I think what we need to do, as the Rabbi was saying, we celebrate Christmas, we have Hanukkah, we have various religious festivals. We are an inclusive society of many different faiths, but I'm afraid the religion that has sort of swamped them all is more materialism and selling, buying and selling things and all that. It makes it kind of hard and crass. But the fundamental reason is it's giving of self, of love, the coming of the gift of life and of love, and that's what we really are celebrating. And that's why the heart of Christmas for us is the Mass, Christ's Mass. I always sometimes fake it a little bit, say Christmas. Say, well, we're celebrating the feast of Christ's Mass. And if we slow it down a little bit, people might begin to think what it's all about.
Rabbi, the Cardinal mentioned commercialization. I think Hanukkah, too, has become increasingly commercialized, in part due to its proximity to Christmas. But how do you put the true message back into focus?
The important work that has to be done is to acknowledge that it's been commercialized. There's 8 days, 12 days, there's a lot of days. How do we express love in a society like ours? Because it's become easier to express it with things than it is with connectedness and peoplehood and ideas, and we want something tangible. We want to buy it and show it to you. And part of this is the idea that, maybe the gift we give is not the stuff, but maybe it's the love. And love is fairly universal. And I think that the message that we're all trying to say is, even if you do have commercial engagement where you have gifts and whatever, don't forget the love part. Do it with family, do it with food, do it with time, do it with energy, do it with commitment, as opposed to just stuff. Because you can't really put that genie back in the bottle.
Well, I think that's true. It's a challenge for us all. But I think especially in these days, especially after the pandemic, a lot of lonely people, a lot of isolated people, alone in apartments. This has been a stress and a pressure in that. So if there's ever a time to give the gift of presence, not presents in the sense of what you buy in the store, but our own presence, this is the time. All the lonely people, where do they all come from? This is years ago, the Beatles thing, but this is all the more now, especially because of the pandemic. A lot of lonely people. And so Christmas is a time to be with them and to reach out to them, give them a phone call, visit, do whatever, so that the people are joined together and not just little islands of isolation.
It's true, the last 2 years have been very difficult for so many people, and hope may be lost. So what message do you have for them?
Hope is never lost. The message for us is, it costs you nothing to light a flame from your own flame. Your flame is never diminished. So giving of your light to the dark, giving of hope to those who are hopeless, giving love to those who could use even the smallest bit. We're not talking about a lifetime of commitment, we're talking about a moment of commitment. A little bit of food at a food bank, a little bit of charity, just a little bit of what you have. This is the joy of commercialism. When you're surrounded by your own bounty, you can probably figure out how to give a little bit away. And giving away costs nothing. That's the message of lighting candles. It doesn't cost you anything to light another flame.
A lot of people of different faiths may be watching this, of no faith at all may be watching this. What's your message to them?
Well, I think it's certainly a time of great joy and a time where we realize our need for one another and our need for God. And so I think together we work on this. And I was just talking with Rabbi before we came here. We have so many things that we work on together. And I think if we can just reach out to people who are in need, people who are lonely, people who are struggling, that's what it's all about. And from the Christian perspective, it's the Word became flesh and dwelt amongst us. The light shines in the darkness. And that's what we need to do, be a light for others.
Rabbi, same question to you, final thought.
The miracle for us of Hanukkah was that we took a post-military victory that was a schism within our community, and instead of celebrating with a military victory, we celebrated with love, warmth, light, food, happiness. And this is the words that I want to tell you. This is for all the lonely people thinking that life has passed them by. Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup and ride the highway in the sky.
Rabbi Sapirman, Cardinal Collins, thank you so much for sharing your words of wisdom. We'll be right back. Robbie Lane and the disciples are up next. Don't go away.